All right, today we're going to talk about the service-based industry. I have got an expert in here who is not only in door-to-door sales doing millions of dollars, but now they are rolling up roofing companies with an annual revenue of over $70 million right now. I've got Sam Taggart. What's up, man?
How we doing?
I got my bald co-host, Brian Davila. What's up? He has a name for all the people in the comments, not just the bald guy.
Yeah.
But dude, you actually just shaved your head off too.
I know. I was going to go bald, bro. And I backed out last minute. And the buzzer didn't work very well. It was on the main stage, 3,000 people.
Dude, he had like hair down to here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
like
he had
down here.
super long hair.
Dang.
And I was just like, let it fall. I wrote a poem and I
He
picked a
shaved it
rando.
on stage at their door-to-door con event.
Why?
I picked a rando. It was actually symbolic. And it goes into this roofing thing, actually, like the deeper meaning of it. For like 3 years, I had long hair, and I realized like I kind of had this like chip on my shoulder of like, F everybody, I don't care. Like, I'll just be me.
Yeah.
Feel that.
And I kind of was like, I'm stepping in as a CEO of this roll up. And I was like, I kind of need to grow up. Like this morning, I'm going to call it the big bank. You know what I mean? Like I show up with a
sales guy anymore.
I know. It's like, I kind of need to like, this is a bank that's going to invest, potentially in this business. I'm in a ponytail. And I kind of had this ego, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, as much as people don't think they judge.
They
you know
judge
what I mean?
for sure.
It's like, let's not kid it. And it's like, they're going to pay attention to your appearance. They're going to pay attention to your hair. They're going to pay attention to how you talk. And it's interesting. Like, I was like, I got to drop the ego and grow up and enter into a new chapter. And it's been like a good chapter. And now I'm stepping into another chapter and it's exciting.
There we go.
I feel that. My beard used to be like disgusting. And I felt the same thing. I was like, okay, I got to like grow up a little bit.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah. That's why I don't dye my hair anymore. I've grown up,
But
all gone
like
through.
there's some fun to it where you're like,
Yeah.
I like being different and I like being
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
But then you're kind of like, what's it costing me?
I might devolve here soon. Go back.
And I did that. I had long hair when I started Door in 2019, first year of the event. And my dad looks at me and he's like, Sam, if you told a first year door-to-door guy, would you say have long hair or not have long hair? It's like, I'd tell him to cut it for sure.
Yeah.
And he's like, the problem is not everybody knows and looks and can talk like you. Everybody needs the best shot they can get. And you're the example. And I was like,
Yeah.
touche.
They think they could just do whatever they want and have success. And it's like, no, you can't.
You can't.
You got to maximize every part.
Every little piece of it. And he's like, they're going to follow exactly what you do. You're the leader.
Yeah.
And I was like, touche. So I cut it, went like 4 or 5 years and I grew it back again. And I was like, damn it, Dad.
Back.
Yeah.
Because now you're the little guy
Yeah.
in this
I'm the
new
little
world.
guy. I just recreated myself.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So used to be a door-to-door guy. You made millions, like literally just building sales teams and everything else. And then, I spoke at your event, Door-to-Door Con. You had how many people there?
There's 3,000.
3,000 people at, this conference for all these reps, doing pest control, security, roofing, like all these different things. And now you're kind of evolving into private equity side of things. You said, just before this, for the last 18 months, you've been interviewing and, analyzing you've analyzed like 40 different companies you've gotten into due diligence with. And now you finally have come to terms with like 7 companies that are all going to be a part of this roll up and you guys are going to add more. Like, what's that process been like?
What's interesting, so it's like, I was the door guy. I wrote a book on sales and then I started coaching sales and then sales turned into more business because I realized that I could make a bigger impact on the business owner. Then I could help them help their people. You know what I mean? You go train a sales guy and he quits in 3 weeks. You're like, that was stupid. You train a business owner to teach a culture that then teaches recruiting and culture and training and leadership. All of a sudden it makes a big difference. So the last like 5 years, I've really, I've ran a mastermind for business owners for the last 9. And what ended up happening is that grew to about 100 companies. And so I'm like, wow, we have all this cool community of business owners. And then I'd have business owners be like, well, what's next? I paid you for 6 years to be in this mastermind. I'm like, well, I don't know. Just keep paying, I guess. Like, don't go anywhere. And then I started to see all the activity. I spoke in an HVAC conference twice, and the conversations were, I'm on my second roll up, and I'm like, okay, what does that even mean? Roofing conferences, I spoke for 8 years, and I spoke for the biggest single manufacturers, and I was always like kind of a big keynote, and never was a conversation. Then all of a sudden I go to a roofing convention on the MC and there's like a private equity panel. And I was like, that's new. And then I start I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so much money moving out of, tech and things like that, moving into home service. I'm like watching plumbing, HVAC, electrical, then I'm watching it get into roofing and pest control now. And I'm like, wait, that's where the puck's going. You can't disrupt it. It's just a boring business.
Yeah.
And so I go to my mastermind members. I was like, hey, would anybody interested to like converge their companies? Because by yourself, no offense, you're never going to sell your company. Like you're a $10 million company, doing $1 million of EBITDA. It's really tough to sell. It's really based on you. But collectively,
you might get 2 to 3 million.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to get a 2-3x.
Like, you're like, I just keep it.
Yeah, it'd be dumb. Like, now what do you do? So I was like, but if we could do 25 million of EBITDA and get a double-digit multiple, now we're talking like, that's life-changing money.
Yeah.
You're set for life. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, okay, I'm listening. I was like, by yourself, you're never going to do this. But if I can put a team together and we can bolt everybody together, let's go make it happen. I have a weird space in that because I've coached them and I've worked with it. I have proven success for 9 years. So it's like a much different conversation than, hey, let me be a bank bird dogging you on a LinkedIn message being like, do you want to buy your, you know what I mean? Like we want to buy your company. Like, so it's been a different model, but in an unconventional way to do it. But everybody that sees the deck is like, this is dope. This is a cool way to do it.
So can I get more context? So do you currently own a roofing company?
I didn't.
You did not.
I didn't own one.
But do you now?
I do now.
Okay. And then how was your first acquisition? Like, how did that go?
So actually this week, we officially signed contribution agreements.
Dang.
So we had to wait. So instead of doing them all one by one, we did it all as the Series A was like, we had to converge it all together because the second you do day one equity, it's different than if I buy a company. I have to do a new 409 if I buy a company in 6 months. Does that make sense? So we did everybody under an LOI, started paying the fees, assuming it's like as if they did get bought, but they didn't.
Yeah. Just wasn't on paper.
It wasn't on paper yet. It was on our LOI.
Yeah.
And then I said, hey, once we have a certain base, we're going to go to contribution. And now it's like you've officially contributed your companies and we're in business.
Got it.
And so that happened this week, which was kind of a cool monumental moment.
And how many companies was
7.
that? 7 companies.
Yeah.
And do you mind me asking how much revenue are those 7 companies doing?
So on average, it's like we're at 70 million. So call it 10 million average.
Okay.
Some are at 7, some are at 15.
Got it.
And so we kind of tried to hit around $1 million in EBITDA per company. Okay. So we do quality of earnings and then call it they're $1 million of EBITDA. So like, let's say they went to the fair market, they're going to get a 2 to 4x maybe on that, depending on their business. But the problem is most businesses have key man risk.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. So I'm like, it'd be like buying one single family property, right? A lot of your people listen in real estate. So it was interesting. I had a coach, I don't know, 5 years ago, and he sold his company and he's like, it's crazy. Selling companies is almost just like selling real estate. It's the same thing. You have a broker, you have a EBITDA. It's like the cap rate, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So kind of the same concept of like, hey, can we put a portfolio together and a private equity or a platform would rather buy a bundle of companies because it delevers the risk, right? Yeah. Then you also have a much bigger group with much less risk. And now all of a sudden the multiples start going into the 5s and the 10s. Like, you know what I mean? You start getting a much bigger multiple. So the argument we had was if we can only take 20% off the top, why wouldn't you do this? If we can make this 20% more valuable by just being one collective instead of independent, don't you think it'd be worth paying the 20%? Where instantly, as of this week, we've already doubled their companies. Because they signed and now we merged, we have doubled the exit value to them overnight.
Got it. And then did you have to raise money to buy a portion of it or is it more consulting?
We did because we're in a unique scenario, we did a cashless merger. And I liked that approach because you can go to a bank and you could say, give me 10% down and I'll borrow the 90%. And I could have given them money. Our thesis was one, we provide so much value. It's kind of like, why would we have to pay you? Yeah. Because they pay us anyway. They pay us to recruit. They pay us to train. They pay us to consult. I'm like, stop paying us over here and start paying us over here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Number 2 was the second somebody takes money, things change. Does that make sense? If I gave you money, I'm going to have this different expectation of you. I'm like, effing, I need to see my return. And there's a different pressure. Yeah. Number 2 is when somebody, even like if you're making 1 million in EBITDA, you're probably taking home maybe $500,000 a year. You're not like pulling it all out of the business. all of a sudden they get a $3 million check. And this is what banks do is they'll give a $3 million check to him, knowing that they've arbitraged the EBITDA to know that they're going to get a $7 million check in 2-3 years. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they're not doing that. So we just said, we don't want you to take money because we want you to stay hungry as dogs. And we want you to go grind your ass off because we're going to flip in the end of 2027. And if you all of a sudden get fat and happy and you start to decline in revenue, then this was pointless. Why'd we get your company?
Got it. So you're trying to flip it in 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you know who Brandon Dawson is? He pretty much did the exact same thing. Have you read his book, 9-Figure Mindset? You should read that book.
I should.
He pretty much had hearing companies. Long story short, he did the exact same thing. He approached all these hearing companies, rolled them up together, and then sold them for like the highest multiple on EBITDA, or like 77. Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember it going down like that. He was here on the podcast a couple years ago, and I recall his business that he sold for 77x was a training company, actually.
Yeah.
It was like an EOS. It wasn't a hearing aid company.
Yeah. It was EOS for hearing aid companies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I didn't know what its niche was.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept. It happens.
It's the exact same.
Like, it's so funny. The second I start going into this.
What was crazy, though, about his was their EBITDA was only like $3 million. Their EBITDA was like $3 million, and a publicly traded company gave them like 77x multiple.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to integrate them into their, they basically were like, you're not even going to sell a product anymore. You're just now our training company for our $1 billion. And we know if you can train our franchisees and stuff, we're going to make way more than what we just paid you.
And that's like what's crazy and different about our roll up, right? Like if I'm a bank, I'm more of a financial literacy company. And then I come and buy your company, I'm going to put better levers into financial literacy. Us, we're a training company. So it's like, if we can come into your business and over 6 months, double, triple, which we've done a lot, right? It's not a hard formula for us. Get more reps, talking to more opportunities and close better. You know what I mean? Like those 3 simple levers we've mastered really, really well, better than any company in the world. So we're like, okay, if we can grow you and show and prove that, but then the other side that's unique about us, we had, I think, 1,200 companies come to our event in January.
Yeah.
So like think of the funnel that we have of prospects in the home service space.
Yeah.
So like our thesis here is like, okay, if we can,
you have unlimited deal flow.
we have unlimited deal flow.
Your consulting and everything.
We get 20 new roofing owners a day in our leads funnel. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not, and we're not even marketing to them to sell it. It's kind of like, we just have a massive network. We have 13,000 companies in our database. So it's like, we just have a weird scenario in the market that it's kind of like, why wouldn't we do this? It's the greatest value. And the crazy part is most business owners, they don't even think, like you ask them, you're like, what's your business plan? And they're like, take over the world. Like, how do people say that? You know what I mean? And I'm like, shut up, dude. What does that mean?
That's you. You're like, what does that mean?
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Like, shut up.
What
like,
number does that?
Yeah, like take over the world. Like you're going to go to your reps. I literally last week, I'm in Dallas. I meet with an owner and I'm like, so what's the plan? He's like, take over the world. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, well, offices in on the states. And I'm like, so how you doing today? 4 million. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Let's take over this city.
I'm like, I love the vision, but at some point in 3 years, let me just tell you how this goes down. You're going to be like, row. And your guys are going to be like, where are we rowing, bro? It's been 3 years. Take over the world. I've heard you say that. Like, you know what I mean? And
we still haven't taken over Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the story of every entrepreneur.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, the crazy part is, it's like, if I can build a model that really helps that, like, not getting taken advantage of by maybe a bank or a platform. I think a lot of those guys are so sharks. Like I reverse engineered how their financial modeling works. It's unbelievable how they're leveraging debt and how they put the debt on the owner and how they like how they use bankruptcies. And I'm like, damn, this is intense. Yeah. And I was like, let's protect the like entrepreneur that's been blood, sweat, and tears for 10 years of his life. And make sure he gets a life-changing number and not just get his business taken over and never even got paid on it.
Yeah. I guess I'm never going to say take over the world anymore.
Yeah.
I like that concept, but it's like, give me a.
Yeah. Well, they're like, what's your vision for M19? I'm like, we're going to take over. We're going to take over everything. Like, we're going to be everywhere.
Thank you, the brain right here.
Yeah. It's like, I mean,
We are everywhere, though, technically.
yeah, it's not bad. I'm just saying, like, okay, then what?
Yeah.
And you probably realize
put a finite number on it and a timeline and an actual goal.
So what are the goals? You're trying to get how many companies and then sell for how much?
So 7 now. We'll add 3 founders, 8 partners. We have a Class A and a B share session.
Do the people joining after have worse like terms?
The founders will just get a new 409. The Class B shares is a smaller partner, is what we call them.
Yeah.
And they have a kind of more of a franchise model.
What is 409? Can you give context?
That's like we have to reevaluate. So it's like a taxable event. So imagine today we're worth 70 million and they come in 6 months. We have to do a evaluation of the company to offer a new unit price. Meaning today, this week we said there's 1 million units. Everybody gets them for $1. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And technically we're $1 million company, even though we did say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But today, it's tomorrow. We are now a $120 million company. So it's like, that sucks. You come in at whatever fair market value is.
Oh, okay. Got
Does
it.
that make sense? I can't just like,
Who determines the 409's value?
you have to go through like a tax firm because the
So
problem
they
is,
valued this whole conglomerate at 120.
or whatever it is. Let's just, you know what I mean? So they have to do a fair
So if you got
market
7 million of EBITDA right now, what is the fair
Yeah,
market
you're
at
probably
this point?
6. You're probably at a 6 to 7x on that. So what is that?
40 million.
40 million.
Okay.
Got it.
So somebody comes in today, it's a $40 million company, and you guys are trying to basically get it to 250, you said?
Yeah.
So what needs to happen?
So we'll get 8 new companies on the partner play, 3 on the founders. So we'll go 30 million and call it the average partner will do 3 million. So founder call it 10, partner call it 3. So call it another 60 million there. And then you have direct. So we started our own internal sales team that'll probably do 20 to 30 million this year. They did like 3 million their first week in business. It was just like, oh, cool. They're going to crush.
3 million in roof sales.
Yeah. And
Got it.
So they went out last week or 2 weeks ago and threw in 3 million. Like the direct side, like that's what I was good at. Like for us, we went to the roofing industry and we knew that pest control, you had all these big dogs.
So are they doing like solar where they're just sales reps and then they sell that sale essentially? They get a commission on it?
Kind of. So
what does a direct sale mean? Like,
are
they building infrastructure?
So internally, we'll have our internal sales team, not like a brand. Call it like we have these 10 brands.
Okay.
And then we sell under Forge. And so I think the problem we ran into, and this is actually really interesting. So we were like, you buy a company, this is interesting. And the thesis broke because we've been doing this for like 16 months, call it. And so we would send sales guys to these companies that we're buying, and there was a culture crash. And you take an owner that's been doing business for 8 years, 10 years, and he's kind of at this cap. And we're like, hey, we're going to take your 10 to 15 guys, we're going to turn it into 30. And what we didn't assume was you take a badass from solar who's like crushing it. He's got 20 guys. You go say, go to this company and throw down for this guy.
Yeah.
After a week, he's like, I don't want to work for this guy. Like, like it's just, and then that owner's like, what the hell? This dude's doing whatever he wants. I'm like, because he kind of knows a little more than you guys do. Like, we just recruited a guy that did 52 million last year in solar, and he put a team together in 60 days. And within 4 months, he did 1,700 installs in solar, and he's like 30. You know what I mean? He's just like coming into this roll up. He doesn't know roofing, but he knows how to get 60 guys. Yeah. And he knows how to grow a big sales team. That would implode these little roofers that we're buying. You know what I mean? That would just like, he wouldn't even fathom that. They don't even understand it. So the problem is we found we have to have a direct side that can handle and culturally fathom that.
Yeah.
Are they over the phone or they're on the floor?
Doors. They're just going out.
Doors.
They're hitting the doors.
So when you do a direct, like, who's doing fulfillment?
So this is what's crazy about roofing. They all use subcontractors. Yeah. And like, you don't have to.
So you basically started your own roofing company.
We did.
So when you say direct, you're just
it's
like.
It's my company.
You're just like, dude, I just started a roofing company.
I started a roofing company. I was like, bro.
You sub out all the roofs.
It's not that
and
hard.
you manage your sales team.
What market are you in?
We're in like 8 states.
Like, give us
like Chicago, or Illinois, Texas, Utah, Arizona, Florida.
So this guy's building teams everywhere.
Yeah.
Or you got 8 different guys in 8 different states.
So we have 8. Well, we have these 7 companies that are in different states already.
Right.
And then direct, I'm like, storm hit in Iowa yesterday.
Yeah.
He calls me this morning. I'm like, how do we get a license in F in Iowa? Go.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking to get started in real estate investing, then you need to use our Cashflow 2.0 system. We give you all the motivated seller leads. We give you software, one-on-one coaching, and everything you need to start your real estate investing business. And we've seen so much success from our students with this system that we are willing to guarantee it. So if you want to learn how it all works and how you can get your first real estate deal today, go on over to wealthyinvestor.com and apply. Someone from our team will get with you, and you could have your first deal within a week once you get on this system. So head on over to wealthyinvestor.com and we'll see you there.
I want to tell a quick story.
You guys are storm chasers.
So I was in Louisville for like 2 to 3 months last year. And
Storm hit Louisville.
so I'm walking around Louisville because my father-in-law's house is in a really nice area. Like the houses are like 5,000-6,000 square feet. And I started noticing on my daily walks, I'm like, dude, like every 3rd or 4th house is getting a roof done.
You see the sign.
Yeah, I see a sign, I see him on the roof. And then I'm like, why the hell are there? Because I'm coming from Vegas. I've never been to Louisville.
Yeah, there's no storm here, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize that. And then I was like, why the hell? Like every week, I'm like, there's so many roofs getting done.
Yeah.
So then finally, I asked one of my neighbors, our direct neighbor started getting their roof done. I was like, hey, how much are you guys paying for this roof? They're like 65 grand. I'm like, you're paying $65,000 for a roof? And they're like, yeah, we paid extra because it's kind of like a 3-story because it had a basement.
Yeah.
And they're like, we had to pay this and this. And then we have like our house and then the guest house. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that's when I realized, like in the Midwest, these service-based companies are completely huge compared to like Vegas. Like
Yeah,
Vegas,
They're huge in Vegas.
They're huge.
You don't know them.
I think they're huge in Vegas, but like until you see every 3rd house getting a roof done,
there
you're
was
like, what
no
the hell's going on?
urgency event. The problem with
Yes.
Vegas, it's like
Yeah,
retail market.
We're
It's
too good of weather.
too good of weather. So I'm waiting for my house to get 20-year-old roof.
Yes.
I need to replace my roof. That's
Yes.
how the roofing is in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a whole different market. But all of a sudden a storm hits in Louisville. Let's just take Louisville, for example. Every roofer and their dog. I've been roofing for 20 years in Louisville. It's me and my brother.
Mhm.
Storm hits. There's only us 2. We're gonna.
We could do one house.
Yeah.
See what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, I deploy 100 dudes into your backyard. Guess what happens? Like you could get on as many phone calls as you try. You could try to go and run Facebook ads as much as you want. But guess who wins?
Yeah.
I got 100 dudes ready to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
it's
you need somebody to fix the roofs, though.
yeah,
That's
but
the
there's
bottom.
unlimited subs, bro. There's so many dudes at Home Depot waiting to just get jobs. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like diminish that, but it's like where there are jobs, the crews will come.
Mhm.
Like they are like, does that make sense? Like they will come roof. Like they're like,
We roof.
Yeah.
We just get a shirt. We roof.
we roof. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like, promise you, we will make you guys happy and you a shit ton of money. They're
Yeah,
just
we
waiting
need you
for
to just travel everywhere.
Yep.
You guys are like a traveling
fulfillment. Exactly. They're just like, follow us, bro.
follow the storms.
Follow us.
How long do roofs last in like the Midwest compared to?
So I would say the average, and this is where I thought it was dumb. I was like, why would somebody pay a 12 multiple for a roofing company? Like that's where my math didn't math, right? And I was like, so then I researched this. Storms 7 years. So like Dallas, Denver, certain areas, you're like every 7 years they're having to replace a roof.
Yeah.
Here, 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tile roofs, you're not replacing.
Into tile roofs, it's like even longer. So you're like Florida, hurricane's going to hit every
be 4
effing
years,
freaking
yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, well, here it goes again. They know the drill. Pay the deductible. Insurance covers the rest.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Vegas, you guys are like funding
Exactly.
those guys on your insurance.
Interesting. Yeah, it was fascinating watching it. I was like, damn, there's a lot of money here.
But this is also why these other markets like Vegas and stuff, like the big hedge funds want to own real estate here because, you know,
The real
our
estate lasts longer.
CapEx is
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
CapEx of these other cities.
Yeah.
Which I would love. So I just recruited a guy to St. George. He's running Southern Utah. And I'm like, hey, dude, you need to go to Vegas. And I actually like the idea of retail because everybody's, you know, it's easy to say, hey, get a free roof, pay your deductible. Like that's an easy sell. what is differentiating about us is I'm actually not just storm chasing. I'm like, if I go knock, like I consult a bunch of retail window companies, for example. I probably have like 8 companies I've helped to go over 100 million all through door-to-door retail window replacement. Your windows are old. Let's get you better windows. They'd say 30, 40, 50 grand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wait a minute. If they could be in all these different markets, they're knock a door, set an appointment, replace their windows. That means they're going after 15 plus year old homes, have a value prop, and people are doing it. So I'm like, what if I just did the same thing in roofs? You have 15-year-old plus homes. You're going to have to get a new roof at some point. What if we give you a killer deal? Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with the roof, if you think about it, how long have you lived in your house?
Only a few years.
How old's your house?
Brand new.
So it's like, you're not even thinking about your roof.
It's not going to be a problem for 30 years.
You move into a house. You're not thinking about it. It's a 15, 20-year-old house. Like,
it's still 15 years from then.
But even then, like, but if you thought about it, like, when are you just going to wake up one day and be like, I'm going to get a new roof?
No, never.
No.
But if I knocked on your door and said, hey, I'm going to hop up there. When's the last time you looked at it? Never. And I'm like, bro, here's the lifespan of your roof. Here's the problems with it. You got 2 options. You can repair it. You call us in 5 years, we replace it, or we can replace it now. I'll give you a killer deal. At some point, you're going to have to replace this thing.
What's the killer deal that they get?
You just, whatever perception. It's sales.
No, but
does that make sense?
With insurance, how much?
Well, no, retail.
He's talking about trying to replace your roof right now.
Yeah, right now. I knock
And
your
it's
door.
out of pocket.
Yeah.
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 I say, let's
In Vegas,
finance
that's
this
not
thing.
gonna.
But at some
You're gonna be
point,
in the hood.
no, but at some point, you're replacing your roof.
Yeah.
So how many real estate deals have you wholesaled that you're like, shit, we got to replace this roof?
We've had to do it on many house flips.
Many house flips. You're
Yeah.
like, I have to replace the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
But that's also why they sell to us, because they don't have the money
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
to replace
Yeah.
the
If you
roof.
knocked on my door, I'm not gonna just be like, yeah, I feel like replacing the roof.
yeah, but if I said, if I built a value prop and gave you a killer deal, most people buy off psychologically, like, am I getting a good deal? And is there a big enough problem? And do I say,
I mean,
yes?
people buy solar for no reason.
Yeah, solar's like the worst sale ever, in my opinion.
But it's like people are doing millions.
But they
and
buy it.
millions.
Yeah.
They buy it.
they're like, we're gonna put a lien for $80,000,
And I'm gonna-
your bill's gonna go down $50.
But think about it.
As long as you don't sell in the next 30 years.
Think about any home service, right?
That's his point.
Yeah.
If people buy that, why wouldn't they
Why
buy an
wouldn't they
actual usable roof?
Yeah.
That you have to do at some point.
You don't have to buy solar.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to buy it,
Yeah.
but
But
you do have to buy a new roof.
You don't have to buy an alarm.
What's
But
a
you
killer?
could-
What's a killer deal on a roof?
All perception.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Does
it's
that make
How
sense?
old's your house that you just bought?
2015, 16. Something.
Okay, so you're not really thinking about it. It's only
No.
10 years old, tile roof.
Yeah.
But if you
tile
had
roof,
a-
if you had an asphalt shingle roof,
If you had a 2005 house, it
Yeah.
starts to be like, hey, you're not thinking about it, but you're
Yeah.
like, hey, you're already at 20 plus years, dude. Like, this roof is
Yeah.
going to start breaking down.
Mm.
and every homeowner knows that. So
Yeah.
at some point, you kind of just say, I'm here now. We'll make it make sense. I'll finance it. You pay $300 a month.
Oh, you finance?
Yeah,
it.
you just finance it. And
Okay,
then-
that's what I'm thinking. I'm
You
like,
see what I'm
who has
saying?
40 grand to just drop?
no, you say, hey, it's $300 a month and we'll get this knocked out.
Nice.
What do you say?
That's what Tommy Mello does with garage doors,
You
dude.
see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
now you're like,
He's slanging $20,000 garage doors.
Wow.
And people aren't dropping 20 grand cash.
and like, but his thing is, he calls me probably 8 years ago and he's like, Sam, let's launch door to door. I was like, okay, door to door garage doors. Okay, let's talk about this. And he's like, honestly, all I need you to do is go hire a bunch of high school kids to go put freaking stickers in the garage.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, well, that's easy. And I said, well, that's kind of still passive. I still don't like it. He's like, well, I know that the second they have a problem with their garage and my sticker's in their garage, they're calling me.
Yeah.
I go, it's still passive. I said, what if you could knock, set an appointment, analyze their garage, and if it's broken, you sell them right there. He's like, well, we don't do that. I was like, what if you did?
Yeah.
HVAC, same shit. You knock a door. Let me see when the last time you changed your filter and your coolant. Oh shit, this thing's 15 years old.
Yeah.
I fixed it.
HVAC I could see in
Do you
Vegas.
see what I mean?
Easy.
Like how many times does somebody want to have their HVAC go out in the middle of summer and they're like in an emergency because nobody's looked at it for 12 years?
Yeah. That's actually happened to me.
But like
Vegas is
exactly.
like extreme.
Everybody knows that shit.
Yeah.
So like the problem is like people say, Sam, you do door-to-door sales. I'm like, no. I help people figure out a more carnivore way to approach selling shit. Like I've helped people.
You are a sales guy. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
What would be the vegetarian way to sell?
Yeah.
Probably how I do.
Yeah.
Just takes longer to get
I
your
sell
food.
tofu.
He's like, I'm not in sales. I give opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I'm actually, you're paying me for value
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah,
delivering.
yeah.
It's like, that's what a sale is. Yeah.
So yeah, that's called sales. AKA closed.
Yeah.
So I guess what's like the biggest bottleneck? What's like the biggest problems and bottlenecks for like people like me and Ryan that want to do this now because you sold us the dream?
Oh, shoot.
What kind of problem?
Being a roll-up guy.
Yeah. Well, think about it. You're already doing wholesale. Like it's the same concept. The problem that most people run into if they want to get into wholesale or flipping homes or things like that is what?
Deal
Marketing.
flow.
They won't pick up the damn phone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You just
It's
need to
deal
have
flow.
these companies. You just got to have a deal flow of companies that want to.
And everybody wants it, but they're not willing to go knock and go find deals. Like that's it. It's so funny. Get more people talking to more people, and I can go do an
I
ad.
think the easier thing, well, not the easier thing, he has a unique mechanism where he just has another business that breeds him all the lead flow. So he doesn't have to pay for it. He just has to identify who's good, right? And I think like, even for me, I was thinking about it too. It's like, now that I'm back in the tax game down the road,
Dude, tax, like
be
those.
a very easy one to like, if we're already going to prepare to sell it down the road, I might as well start
Bolt-ons
identifying.
10
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like, I'm doing this. Be the platform. Be the, like I said, like, let's build the platform and you guys get to ride the coattails.
Yeah.
I literally am like, I'm doing this. It doesn't hurt
And
me.
I already know tons of other tax firms.
And those guys are crushing it right now. I had a
Yeah.
buddy just sell his freaking tax and accounting firm, but those are rolling up right and left right now
Yep.
because they're irreplaceable. So you're like, can I just do it and merge and create more EBITDA?
Yeah, because to your point, and I've thought about it before, it's like, all right, these normal tax firms that, let's say their EBITDA is 1 million. Now their revenue is not 10 million. You know, tax firm's going to be say 3 to 4 million revenue to have 1 million EBITDA, right?
But they have reoccurring customers.
It's all
they have
reoccurring.
multiples. It's very
Yes, its
sticky.
multiples are better
Yes.
than roofing.
Yeah.
yes.
But it's like, okay, you go get 10 tax firms and now you've got 10 million EBITDA in the tax
And your
world.
multiple is
you're
gonna be way
10x
better.
plus
Wow.
easily.
But by yourself, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, by yourself, that 1x might, or that 1 million might be a same as roofing, 2 to 4x, whatever the number is, right?
So it's like you'd be dumb if you didn't.
Yeah. It's like, bro. Well, and then you as the management guy, whether you structure it like he did, where it's 80-20 or whatever the number is.
I mean, Brandon Dawson and Grant Cardone are doing roofing and they're doing 50-50.
They're doing HVAC and
They're doing 50-50 partnership.
yeah.
Because, well, think about it though. Like if they rolled up and we went to them and said, hey, now you're going to get a 5x and you're going to have our help and other stuff. We keep the rest of the upside.
That's
past
what I do with my
5x.
partners.
Okay.
My partners, I give them a predetermined based on their multiples.
Yeah.
I say you get a 3, 4, 5, or 6. And I say that's
Based
dependent
on how
your
much you're
EBITDA.
bringing to the
Exactly.
table.
And I just say, I'll give you, and tax wise, you can't say it that way. I did a profit interest with a cap
Right.
because they'll get taxed on short-term capital gains if you just did a bonus like that. But
Yeah, because if their multiple's 3 and you say you're going to get 5 now, bro,
dude, it's a no-brainer.
you're getting 67% more.
Dang.
And then
6, 7.
for him, yeah, you get 6, 7 more. And then,
And then you
you
get-
give them 5 and we're going to get 8. Well, now we get all of the not all the upside.
Yeah.
But a good
you're
chunk of
splitting it,
upside.
but you're getting great upside for just putting a deal together.
Because think about it. Why do you charge what you charge to help somebody flip their home? Or why do you charge what you charge to manage somebody's property? It's like, well,
You're
I'm
making
bringing
way more
Yeah.
than what they're paying you.
How old are you?
36.
Damn. Gotta step my game up.
You're going to roll up wholesale companies that are worth 0.
I thought about that, but yeah, they're worth 0. So this is my problem. I'm just going to use this as a free coaching platform. So we make great money.
Is there any other reason to not do
Exactly.
I'm like, if you're not doing no reason to do a podcast other than like, can I pick your brand? There's a good argument for us to get.
It's going to look good. We're going to get short.
Nobody watches this shit, but we got value. Let's be real.
But so I make really good money flipping and wholesaling.
Yep.
Like I'll make $1 million this year to me.
Yep.
Flipping and wholesaling. But it's not worth anything. It's getting harder and harder with regulations.
Can I tell you the same thing I told the guy yesterday?
Okay.
So this Rocky guy comes. one of the founders is trying to recruit this Rocky dude that's got his 60 reps. He makes over $1 million selling solar. He's crushing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why would I do this? I have the risk of losing all my people. I blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And I go, okay, you make $1 million. How much money do you use to live?
Me?
Yeah.
To live?
Yeah, like what's
We'll
a
say
good
like
lifestyle?
250.
That's exactly what he said.
Okay.
So I knew
This is the
exactly.
debate that
Bro,
I knew exactly where
not 250.
it is 250. It's mine is 250.
No, I know.
Mine is 250.
Yours
Mine's
isn't.
less.
Yours isn't.
Mine's
Yours-
less.
He said 250.
Yeah, mine's less.
He's got Southern Highlands membership.
Exactly.
So
I just go with
that's
him.
his membership.
I arbitrage.
I just go with
I know. That's why I was like, I'm
funding a lot of
I'm
lifestyle.
gonna finagle my way into that 9 here to later. So
Yeah.
We are playing, Davila, if you want to go.
we're playing.
right after this.
Okay, so
If you want to be a freaking mooch.
There you go.
I'm being a mooch, and I have but my point is, he says, I live on 250, a single dude, right?
Yeah.
So I said, hey, what do you do with the other? Let's call it 750. Let's say you didn't pay any in tax.
Uh-huh.
What do you do?
With
Invest.
me,
Give.
I buy rentals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'll buy rentals. And I say, you hope to make, let's say 15 to 20% on your rentals, right?
Realistically, they make zero.
I know.
That's a
in
fact.
today's market,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So let's just say in a good world and we're in perfect
He's handling
economy.
every objection.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I've trained on sales and written a few books on it. But
Yeah.
let's just say that you say, I'm making.
If I pull out my credit card,
I know.
he just has the. I'm like, okay.
At the end of this podcast, if you're not selling roofs for me right now, no. So what I'm getting at, I said, cool, you make your 15, 20% on a good day because you happen to find a killer property on a rental. Good job, bro.
Yeah.
I said, what if you could take that extra 700 grand
Uh-huh.
and you could put it towards equity?
I would do it.
What, like that's called private equity. So the issue is like, am I okay making 250 for a year or two?
Uh-huh.
Knowing I built massive amount of equity. And I told him, I said, look, don't do this if you're playing the game to make $1 million a year. I said, what if I can make you $500,000 a year doing the roofs? You lost all your guys. You could have 2 guys and you'd make $500,000.
Uh-huh.
But you knew that in 2 years, you're going to make $12 million on your exit.
Hell yeah. I would do that.
Because what's the ROI?
But you lost me. But you lost me though. So are you saying that let's just say I'm willing to invest $500,000?
Yes.
You're telling me to go buy a roofing company
No, I said
or go invest
sweat
in
equity.
your company?
I said, just take the pay cut.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? I
Oh,
said,
you're
take
telling me
the
to
pay-
get out of my industry.
That's what I told Homeboy. I said,
Yeah.
leave your effing day job.
Uh-huh.
Knowing that I have a play where I'm going to build 2-year play with him
Uh-huh.
to then say, you're going to sell at the end of 2027. And based on you doing 10 million, where you did 52 million last year,
Yeah.
if you did 10 million, that's $1 million of EBITDA.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to get an 8X on that million, that's $8 million.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me you're going to put 700 grand into some rentals you're going to make no money on.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your return with that?
Yeah.
If you just did a pay cut, and let's just say you hypothetically made 250, 300 grand paying yourself a salary for the next 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
knowing you built a $10 million roofing company,
Yeah.
knowing that you could sell it for $8
Why do you have
million.
to sell them even on that? What's the
Because
the reason?
his nervous is, well,
They're
I'm
back,
making $1 million a year.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going backwards.
I'm going backwards.
Because he's paying your management fee?
No, because he's making $1 million
He's telling you to
selling
get out of this
solar.
industry and go.
He's nervous to leave.
solar to go to
He's
roof.
like,
Yeah.
I need to
I
make.
see.
I'm making $1 million. I'm going to lose all my guys. I'm going to get sued if I try to take all my guys. And I'm like, F them, bro.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's go back to me real quick. So you're telling me to start a roofing company.
I'm not saying you start a roofing. I'm saying, what are you doing to play equity? Because people with short-term thinking, they think I'm making 350, I'm making $1 million, but they don't do anything to actually say, let's build. Why is he buying a tax company?
For an exit.
An exit.
Yeah.
So like at some point you get burnt off the hamster wheel where you're like, I don't know what to do with the extra 300 grand I made this year because I
Yeah.
live off 250.
Yeah,
I'm living
yeah,
a good life.
Yeah. Yeah. You sold me. I'm trying to get to these steps. So you're saying start a roofing company
With me, yeah, let's
with
do it.
you?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do
How
it.
much does it
Vegas,
cost? How much does it cost?
$0.
$0?
You do all of it.
Okay. We have a deal, bro.
We have a deal.
bro.
We are 28 minutes into the podcast. He didn't even
Is
need
there
the full
anyone
6.
Vegas, we just opened up Forge Roofing.
What about Cali? Do you have someone in Cali?
Oh, I need Cali.
I'll do
Vegas.
Cali. I'll
Bro,
do Cali.
Yeah, Cali, I would say Cali or Vegas would be absolutely epic.
What's the
margins,
equity split? Now let's
bro,
get into the
it's a
details.
well,
You get 80.
I get 80?
well, it's kind of.
Oh, you get 80.
No, you'd be a partner.
Okay.
You'd get a like we talked about, a 3, 4, 5, or 6
you're coming in as a little baby, right?
Okay.
But a 3, 4, 5, or 6x in 2 years, bro.
But what's the equity split?
It's just
whatever you get to the
predetermined
business
multiple.
too.
No, you
So if
keep
you get
all the money,
Yeah,
bro.
if you get the business to say $1 million EBITDA,
Yeah.
and you guys agree to a 4x split, you're gonna make $4 million.
$4 million.
Uh-huh.
You get all the cash right now. You could go make $1 million. I have a buddy I just
This is what you're talking about with your franchise model.
Yeah.
Okay, I get
So
it
you
now.
keep it all.
All right, let me
Okay.
explain to you
Okay.
what he just did. So they already have their parent company with the founders, and they have 70 million of revenue. So they're like the baseline of the whole thing because they're going to be what allows the multiple to be high.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
Now everyone coming in secondary, it could be a smaller business,
Tiffany.
a startup business,
Yeah.
whoever, right?
We'll get Tiffany on board later.
Yeah.
He's going to you guys
She'll
and
come
saying,
under me.
look, right off the bat, we're already going to predetermine that your exit is going to be a 3x if you get to say 500 in EBITDA.
Okay.
It's going to be a 4x if you get to $1 million.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 5x if you get to whatever, right?
That's exactly.
I got
That's how he's going to do it.
Okay.
So you don't, it's just up to you how big you grow.
Okay, but let's just say, so the goal is when we sell, if it sells for 8, for example, I would get 4, and then you would get the other 4.
You don't
Correct.
care what it sells for. You're guaranteed what you get.
Yeah, that's his deal.
But I'm just figuring out how you get paid.
because you, as you by yourself as a 500K or 1 million, will
We'll
only get
sell
3.
for 2 to 3. Yeah.
And it's 2 years, bro. We're a year and a half away. You know what I mean? It's like, let's go to war together.
Okay.
And we can go.
But
help.
what happens if I get to that date and I'm like, hey, I don't want to sell anymore?
You're part of the spaceship, bro.
You can't.
You
get
can't,
off
you can't
the
back
ship.
out?
You're in the
Got it.
spaceship.
Okay.
But Callie,
I'm like 37. I still got time to do it
Bro,
again.
exactly. We're like trying to get the 30, 40-year-olds, not the 70-year-olds. The thing is most people are buying baby boomer businesses. And so they go to a homeowner or they go to a small business and they say, let me buy you out and you go retire. And I'm like, dude, honestly, I'll go recruit that dude's manager and take all of his sales and don't need to pay out a $3 million check. Like,
Okay.
for me, I'm like, let's go after dogs that are ready to go to war together.
Hell yeah, I'm a dog.
And California, the margins are stupid, bro.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I have a company.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
We have a company.
Bro, I'll go to San Bernardino right now. Bro.
In
I'll
SoCal,
drive.
we helped them get to 3.8 million. In 2.5 years, they got to 3.8 million in EBITDA.
I could get to at least $1 million because I'm already in real estate. I know every real estate investor in California.
Just go throw down, dude.
So, okay, so where's the risk? So where's the risk in this for me? If you say there's no risk, then I'm like,
you got to go put in
work.
a ton of time, dude.
Yeah, you gotta go sell
gotta start
roofs.
But for them, they do door to door, so they don't have marketing risk. It's all sweat.
Yeah, if you wanted to go play ads, you might lose ad spend and you don't know how to sell.
and then do you train me how to do the whole roofing thing, or I just
we have a
figure it
whole
out?
online training piece. We have trainers.
What about getting the license?
we have a license.
We need an affiliate.
We have
Hold
a
on.
license. We own a license in
Brian,
Cali.
we need an affiliate in the description.
Bro.
If people sign up after this podcast,
we could set it
Ryan
up.
and I want at least 50%.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey,
Equity.
Equity in the
or if you need a
signups.
new roof, hit us up. That's not the goal here. But no, we have
DM Ryan on Instagram if you roof.
no, we have a license in California.
Okay, so you have. Oh,
already
so
have
I
it.
could just use that
You
license.
could use the license.
You just got to
This
build a
sounds
sales
too
team.
good to be true, bro. That's
This is
easy.
what door to door is.
Bro,
So
it's
that's so easy.
But bro, this is what door to door is.
It is.
They get all these sales guys, and then they're like, "Look, we already have the solar company. You're going to go under this arm, sell what you sell, and this is what you make."
Yes.
It's the same idea.
Bro, I'm sold. I'm not gonna lie. I am so sold.
It's such a boring thing, but it's like I could have done this in pest control. I could have done this in window replacement.
I like roofing because there's bigger margins.
Yes, the
Pest
margin's
control is
killer.
like-
It's like the cash. I had this guy. This is why Rocky's considering going
Hey,
to this.
oh,
box
dude,
roofing.
by the way, we have a or what is he, Tiffany? He's coming on Friday. He does he built a huge pest control company.
David.
Oh, David Royce.
Yeah, do you know?
Oh, he's a G, bro.
He's pest control, right?
OG. He's the
Oh,
G.
bro, I'm
So
signing
you're
up for
gonna,
that.
no, you're gonna be a
he's,
pest control
he's like
guy.
now an actor. He's
You're
like,
gonna see
I made
roof on my
millions.
hat next
I made millions, and now I went into acting. So he's
an actor now,
He's the G, bro. So take this dude, David Royce. He's like one of the OGs of pest control, which is probably one of the OG companies. We're talking 2000. We're talking 1997. So he goes and builds this big company, sells it again. So they sold probably 4 different times. Every time they sold their base of accounts.
Hell yeah.
So then then they just have to rebrand a name, start a new sales org, and do it again.
Yeah.
And the last one they just did was called Active, where he hadn't even been in an active role. He doesn't show up for 10 years. He hadn't even been there. I don't even think people know who he was for the last 10 years. They just sold for $600 million. He had a CEO that was like,
600 million.
bro,
It's coming Friday.
they had a CEO that was just like running the whole thing that probably got paid a very small piece of this. And Dave's like pursuing an acting role in California. The dude did it right, bro. Like I'm talking, they had sold 10 years ago again. They sold another time 15 years ago. Like
Okay, so
that
Dude
dude's
sold
rolling
a company for a million times over.
a million times over because he just knew how to build sales orgs.
how many
All door to door.
All door.
how many companies are you gonna have to roll up to sell for that 250 million?
He just needs to get like
I need to get
probably
10
20
more.
million of EBITDA.
Yeah, 20 million of EBITDA.
You just
okay.
reverse engineer your EBITDA.
Yeah, so 20 million of EBITDA. So how many companies do you think that'll be? Like 40?
I'll get 10 more companies and I'll grow direct.
10 more companies grow direct, so 17 plus you. So like 18. Got it.
Yeah, because if he has 18 companies that are
Yeah.
doing $1 million, that's 18 million.
Uh-huh.
And then direct will
And
go
then
make
he
up
can
the
go get a
difference.
couple million himself direct,
Yeah.
whatever.
Got it. Okay,
That's
so on that 250.
You just might be one of the 18.
Yeah. I'm
Me,
not
Lemon
saying
Girl?
I mean if you know how to go sell, like here's the thing.
I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to be straight up. I'm going to go hire.
No, you go hire.
I'm going to go hire like 10 sales guys.
Yeah.
I'm good at hiring now.
So if you
I have
know
that
how to
now.
hire-
As
Yeah,
of like
my sales team is.
as of like 3 weeks ago, I got really
I
good.
got this one guy.
No, seriously,
As long
I've been
as Steve
hiring.
goes- No,
I've been hiring for
sales guys
Bro.
are hard to find.
7 years, and I'm now good at hiring.
All right, let's
suck-
talk about this.
I
Tell-
suck at hiring.
How do you find good sales guys? This would actually be
So
pretty
here's we have a recruiting company called Recruitomatic, and it's funny. I'm on a
own
trip.
it?
Yeah. So there's a
He said we have it.
I know, but I want to own a recruiting
no,
company
it's
too.
tough, dude. So
What is wrong with you?
yeah,
No, because I'm good at recruiting now.
bro, it's
I'm recruiting
yeah.
for
No,
one.
you don't want to do that. It's hard.
Hold on.
You
really
don't want.
quick.
He owns it. He
I know,
told
but
you
hold
to
on,
do it.
hold on, really quick. I'm hiring for another wholesale operation. I'm not going to tell you who it is,
Oh,
but
jeez.
they're paying me $7,000 per sales rep.
That's called recruiting.
Yeah,
Brian.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
existed
good.
forever.
So let me.
I know.
let me
We have a
explain-
few of them in M19 that do 8 figures plus a year.
And
Let
that's
me-
what inspired me to do it.
Let
Okay,
me
sorry, go ahead.
explain how this all works, though.
Okay.
So I'm on a sales training call with my team this morning, and they're doing role plays and shit. And I was like, nope, don't say that, because they're teaching how to sell a recruiting package, right? So we have 100 companies we recruit for now, and we're doing probably 150 grand a month. And
Jesus.
so the problem is that we're role playing. He's like, well, I have 10 guys. I want to get to 20 sales guys. And so he's like, where do you find good sales guys? And then the role play, he's like, well, most of my guys are just kind of friends, or I found them, through networking. And so I said to the sales guys, I said, there's your key piece. If he wants to get 10 more sales guys through our recruiting platform, that is through Indeed and Facebook ads,
Yeah.
he's going to have to hire 100 salespeople that cost $200 to $400 in California, probably $7 per hire. Every hire, for 10 hires, you're going to keep one. And so do the math.
If
You're
you suck,
probably
yeah.
$200 to, it's $7,500 per hire.
Uh-huh.
And what's crazy, that's why he said, I'll pay you $7,000 a hire.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, what's a hire? Is a dude that showed up to day one of training, or dude that stuck 90 days, dude that produced X? So after 90 days, the most average Indeed applicant, good companies are keeping 6 to 8% of their people.
What?
It's crazy. Well, we're talking
Mine
a
way
commission.
higher.
I know, but we're talking a commission-based door-to-door job, meaning
Got
there's
it.
no guarantee.
Oh, no.
And so this is what's hard is people are like, you're going to give me 10 sales guys. I'm
Yeah,
like,
bro, you ain't trying to hire door-to-door people.
I'm
You're
like,
sitting in a comfy office.
that
Yeah.
gets a base pay, leads handed to them. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
hard.
Oh,
But when we're talking, guys are trying to say, hey, I'll just go get 10 sales guys to go get their face kicked in and work off 100% commission. You know what I mean?
100
I
degree
actually,
heat and
I,
Yeah,
I, can do
yeah,
it.
just-
I know where I could find those people.
They exist. I think-
LDS Church.
Yeah, like that. But
Run
that's,
ads.
that's why
Run ads to the
all in
Mormon.
Utah.
Yeah, yeah.
but the piece is when you look at like hiring and you're growing, it's like, am I offering a base? What's the culture? What's keeping them motivated? I recruited for a patio company in San Diego. He calls me, he's like, I need a refund, and like 90 days later or whatever. And I was like, bro, we sent you 72 hires. He's like, where are they? I go, I don't know. Did you talk to them? No. And that's what we were like, how long you been in business, bro? He's like, 12 years. And I go, how many sales guys do you have? 2. I'm like, do you give him leads? He's like, yeah. How long have they been with you? 8 years. Okay, cool. Let's do some math real quick. How often do you meet? He's like, we don't. Okay, so you want us to send you hires. You have no meetings. You don't talk to them. And you want them to magically start going door to door and just selling your thing without any kind of
Training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, no leadership, no management, no structure. And he's like, yeah. Is how hard could it be? They just like knock doors. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty easy, I guess.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be real, bro. Like, I hate to just burst your bubble, bro. It just doesn't work that way. You need leadership. You need training. You need culture. You need accountability. You need pay. You need, you know what I mean? All that shit figured out. And that's where we come in is we help you establish infrastructure. We're not going to run your business for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I like this.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It was like a hard it was an hour conversation. I was like, I'm going to end conversation now because
you don't like the recruiting business.
I hate it because everybody's expectation is like, Sam, we're going to get a bunch of you Mormon kids that just like showed up after 2 years trained off the mission.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
used to working for nothing.
yeah, used to working for nothing. Exactly. I'm like, we do this for free. But like, the piece that they're expecting is that, but I'm like, no, we're getting a bunch of face tatted up, blue haired phonies that are coming through Indeed at the bottom of the barrel. You're not Google. You're not like some brand somebody cares about. Like you have no culture and you want them to somehow.
So you guys are recruiting off Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're only dealing with what we get. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't.
Yeah. You post the job ad for this company and
we run their ad spend. We do the group interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did you recruit your people off Indeed?
Yeah.
And they're
Indeed and LinkedIn and my Instagram.
And it's sifting. It's like there's this game of like screening.
Yeah.
People
like
no show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
but now I feel like we're actually good at it.
We are so good at it. We have a software follow-up. We have screening. We are so good at it.
Yeah.
But just as good as a marketing company could be, if the other person sucks at selling and they have no process and they don't call the leads, they're going to blame who?
You.
Your leads suck. I'm like, if I gave those same leads
are you allowed to just hire them where you're like, you know what, you're good. Here's the employee agreement.
We do that.
Okay.
We literally will, if you pay us enough, we'll run your first, your second interviews and they show up every week to your training.
How much are your rates again?
So we charge monthly. So anywhere from just the software, $500 up to $5,000 a month if we're doing
and it's a certain amount of hires every month. That's how recruiting businesses usually operate. Yeah. They'll either give 20% of their yearly salary.
Yeah.
But we're not hiring salary people. We're just
got it. Okay.
You just giving them bodies.
All right. Well, I'm down.
So wait, which one are you down for? You're going to start recruiting
company?
I kind of want to do both.
Pest control. But I mean, after we talk to this guy's the OG.
We'll see.
Dave Roy,
bro, he acts for fun.
But I like,
but he's like us in this podcast.
The thing that I like about recruiting and
most people would never know that. So that'd be a good little ace with him.
Yeah.
But I like roofing and recruiting because they're high margins. And that's what like wholesale is. It's high
roofing
ticket.
And solar.
He just said their margins are 10%.
Bro, you're
on which company?
Roofing.
No, roofing is if it's 35 to 70%, depending on the roof.
That's a lot.
I thought you were saying they did 10 million to make
net.
Yeah, net.
But if you're just selling it and you don't have much overhead, you're
if you're just
30,
subbing
40,
it out,
50%.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to like pick commission and then build a management team and then have people.
Yeah.
You know,
it turns into a real business.
Yeah, it's a business. Now you're paying you know, the one company's at 20% and one company's at 6%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these companies you're rolling up are companies.
Oh yeah.
And what's you said, because if I remember correctly, you said they're at 70 million with 7 million EBITDA. That's
so
10%
we're at net. Yeah. 10% margin.
It's a 10% business. I mean, we have a ton of blue collar guys in M19. So I'm already even thinking, I'm like, well,
send them over, bro.
I already got.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
literally just golf with a roofer who's doing 10 million a year.
Send them over. We have a broker fee.
And what do you think? And what do you think his EBITDA was?
It was in those ranges. It was actually less, and he's trying to get his EBITDA up. We have another guy in M19 who does development. They do 70 million a year by themselves, but he was over 20% because, and he knows everything about why.
You could get up to those 20-ish%, just depending on how clean you run your business.
Well, but his part is because he's at such scale, they get more economies of scale. When you're trying to build a management team for 10 million, Dude,
Your middle level
got to make what they make.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's like they're going to make six figures regardless of if the company does 10 million or 70 million.
100%.
It's just a six-figure position.
So you can run it real
Like I see
lean.
that problem happening right now with my own company. That's why I'm like, we have to break through to 20, 30 million plus a year.
Are you talking about the holding company?
Yeah, at Pineda Co.
Yeah.
Because those guys cost what they cost regardless of that.
Yeah.
And if we get to say 30 million, it's not like they all get paid triple. Like they will get paid more, but it's not triple.
It's hard. It's such a, I think this is like this weird ceiling that a lot of businesses run into in any service is like the owner runs everything versus being able to kind of break through the ceiling of middle level management where you have key leaders that are going to want to make 100 to 300 grand a year, depending on the business. And that's like the hump for us. We're like, bro, fire all your middle level management, go effing sell. Like a lot of these owners were like, you guys are so overhead for nothing. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Like one of the companies yesterday were like, you did 12 jobs last quarter, bro. I don't know why you're busy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
That's
busy
right
doing?
now. That's literally everyone is so damn busy. But I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm like, just what numbers did you do? And he's like, well, we hired, and I don't give a shit. What did you do all week? If you're supposed to be over production, you did 12 and a quarter, and you have a production manager that you're paying 150 grand to.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, well, and we called him out on his shit, and it was like, you know what you need to do is go sell 12 a week and just get in the field because the margins on those jobs are hella good. And just go back with your people and just like screw trying to build out this middle level management.
I talk about that almost every podcast. That like focus is just so hard to find. Everyone's worried about Claude.
Or you're trying to scale too quick.
Yeah. Everyone's worried about Claude. Everyone making less than 100K is trying to have sex all day. It's seriously. But yeah. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's so true.
Do you believe if some, okay, I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to get into it.
This is a stupid.
Yeah. We'll go into a snowball.
Yeah.
Let's transition.
He went on a tangent yesterday. He's like, all these people complain about not making 100K. If you're not making 100K, you should not have sex at all. And I'm like, even the married guys?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, everyone.
If they want to make more than 100K and they're not. If you're fine at 70, that's fine. But if you're not making six figures and you're out having sex,
you need to channel.
You need to,
what's the Napoleon Hill, the sexual transmutation he talks about in his chapter, Think and Grow Rich or whatever?
Oh, bro, tell me,
dude, when you saw
me confirm my thought.
I was thinking Napoleon Dynamite. I was
No. Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. He has a whole chapter on that shit.
That you shouldn't have sex?
Yeah, he's like, it's called harness. No.
So smart.
So think the same creative energy. So this chakra is your sexual chakra. That's the same creative chakra that you harness your energy into either creating life or creating outcomes.
Yes.
And so what happens is when people have too much sex and they can't harness that, it's all in Think and Grow Rich and like Napoleon Hill's book. He talks about
I
this
literally
shit.
am so spot on everything. I just don't know.
People don't need to know how to harness their drive and sexual energy into building shit.
Yes.
And they're wasting it.
That's a problem with pornography because they could stay at home and have sex and then they're like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to go out and do anything.
Yeah. You lose this.
All right, so let's transition. What do you want to transition to?
Well, people do transition for sex purposes, but nonetheless.
Bring back the blue hair.
But nonetheless, so really, how are you recruiting salespeople? We never really, I mean, is it just as simple as LinkedIn and
well,
Indeed
that's Recruitomatic, right? So recruiting agency, Recruitomatic will run all the minutia, boring shit an owner shouldn't be doing.
Okay.
I met a roofing company last week in Dallas. He's like, I've been in interviews all day. Yeah. Like, you're the owner of a $15 million company and you're running interviews for green bean, fresh new hires. Like, that is the biggest waste of your effing time. Like, so we do that. But if I go to an owner, and this is what I told the guy this morning in the role play, I said, you know what you need to tell this guy is he's in for a rude awakening because he's not used to having to spend money to actually get new hires. Is because if he wants to get to 10 and it costs $2,500 a guy, he's out XYZ and he's going to be bitching to us being like, where's all my money, right? It takes 9 months to get an ROI on that guy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, by the time he actually gets going, right, there's a ramp up period. So I was like, he just doesn't understand the math, right? It'd be like a real estate guy being like, where's my money? It's like, you invested last week, bro. Like,
I get it.
You know what I mean? Like, give this 2 years and let it mature. So I would coach. So we have a recruiting masterclass and a playbook and an online training all on recruiting. It's like 27 hours. Like, it's intense. there's 6 branches of recruiting. There's your personal network, your circle, which would be your personal network's network or your team's network. And those are the lowest hanging fruit of recruiting. I think this is where people are like, how do I find good sales guys? I'm like, they're all over if you're willing to actually headhunt and be like, hey, dude, I know you're selling for X company. Are you open to actually like seeing if there's a win-win here? Yeah. And they may say yes, no, or you're like a dude that you see talent. He's a waiter, a public encounter, and you're like, this dude's waiting tables. Have you ever like this waitress last week in Dallas? She was so good. Like I was like, damn, I tipped so well with her because I was like, you're so good. Yeah. Why are you waiting tables? Yep. How long have you been doing this? And I was like, I need to recruit you. So it's like. And I'm not trying to hit on you. I'm married. Like, I was like, you're just so good. But the problem is she never gave herself a shot at a real opportunity because she's going to make her 60, 70 grand in college waiting tables. And that's what her value and self-worth is. Yes. So if I see the greatness in her and I invite her into that, that to me is the greatest way to recruit. Like you're showing somebody a better opportunity to move into the next chapter. Yeah.
I see that all the time.
Yeah. But too many people are afraid to do that. I come from Utah, multi-level marketing capital of the world, door-to-door capital of the world. It's like, hey, you want to make a quick buck selling Mary Kay or whatever? I don't know.
You're like, sure.
Yeah. Everybody in Utah is like, that's normal. And it's like, are you trying to make me recruit into your MLM? Are you trying to make me go sell door-to-door? Like, we're just do that naturally. But I think the rest of the world, it's like, I don't want to like come off a certain way. It's like, well, you're trying to build an effing empire, aren't you? Aren't you trying to help their life be better than a waitress? Like, yeah, do it.
Yeah. So you got to have conviction in the opportunity that you're giving people. So, I mean, you go sphere of influence, and then from that, is it then LinkedIn? And
yeah, because like if I've tapped that, or if I'm too lazy to do any of that, you got to have a constant kind of flow of influx. Yeah. And I think with sales companies, like they don't, this quote, and I came up with this a couple years ago, and I think it's so vital. New blood keeps the old blood alive, and it keeps the old blood accountable. So think about like if you get an old dog that's been here for 2 years, he's living on referrals.
Yeah. In the sales world,
he's 24 months old. He's about to die.
No, but like, this guy's he's reached made it way past turnover.
He's made it way past turnover, and he's and he's not necessarily leaving. He's making a decent living, right? Yeah. Those guys get complacent because they know how to just shot call, create money every month, right? Like they just are like, I got my thing on pat.
They get very complacent.
They get complacent
where they're at.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you get a green bean that starts throwing down. Yeah. He makes that old dog look like an idiot. Yeah. He's like, shit, I can't embarrass myself. Yeah. So by bringing in new blood, it actually keeps those guys honest because he's like, oh, dang. And then it also, just like the NBA, the NFL, any of those things, it's like, hey, LeBron, your son's coming into the game now. You know, it's like, you know, so there's a point in there where it's like, I know that there's always new talent. And if I can chop my bottom 10% or my guys that aren't following my system, or like if they know that their job is always coming and gunning for who gets the leads, who has the best closing percentage.
Yeah, you have to stay competitive.
It keeps them accountable.
Yeah. Anytime there's any entitlement in sales,
the tail wags the dog.
It's not good.
And a lot of owners get held hostage by their top performers. Yeah. Like think about that in any business. It's like, well, if you did leave and if I don't subside to him, I'm going to lose half my revenue. Yeah. I'm effed. Yeah. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
100%.
See, that's what I've always struggled with that as a business owner with like these sales organizations. Cause it's like, man, the sales guys kind of do call the shots when they're both the marketing and the sales.
It's like I'll dip. Shit. No, you won't. I'll pay you more.
Yeah. like because it's like, bro, you do generate
a lot of money.
Yeah. Like versus I've always been like, look, I'm going to be able to like call the shots because we generate the leads, the marketing. It's a cushy job. You don't got to go slam doors. Like, bro, it's like a privilege to have this opportunity. You can make 6 figures very comfortably.
Yeah, but
even then, some people get entitled.
No, I know that.
But you have a lot more of the lever of control. You're like, I'll turn off your leads. He's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Which is a thing, right?
Yeah. So what do you think about that, right? Like, obviously you're the door-to-door guy. And a door-to-door rep should theoretically make more than another
baby. Yeah.
Right? Because they are basically, I always tell this to door-to-door guys or like people who basically just self-prospect. I'm like, you're paying for marketing one way or another. You're going to pay it in their massive commission or you're going to pay it in terms of marketing and then a lower commission. Like, but either way, it's getting paid.
Yep.
What kind of commission are these roofers on?
Usually like a 10 to 12% of top line.
And
So
what's
if
the
you,
average ticket?
depends on the market, but like commercial, you're doing fat. Like I had a guy call me yesterday. He's like, I got this $1 million job. I'm like, sick. He's gonna make 300 grand on that thing.
Oh, wow.
And then you have guys that are, your average ticket is probably 20 grand. So you're
Got
probably
it.
making 2-3 grand.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
How many doors does it take per sale, you think?
How good are you? You know what I mean? But
That's an
I always
average.
say on average, 10 good conversations with prospects. Problem is people count doors. I think this is a lot of things. Like if I'm in sales.
Yeah. What's a
everybody-
lead?
Yeah, what's a lead? And I'm like, okay, I knocked 100 doors. Well, you only talked to 4 people. Why'd you knock to a bunch of not homes? You know,
Yeah.
you're an idiot with your efficiency. And same
How do
thing.
you know that they're not home? It's just timing.
You look for signs of life, cars in the driveway. You look for lights on. You look for garage. You know what I mean?
Not in a ghost town.
Yeah, you're just in a ghost town. You're in a middle class, like young neighborhood. It's like, why are you knocking at 10 a.m.? Go to an old person neighborhood. You know what I mean? And then at 6, come back to the young person neighborhood. Like you're just being inefficient with time. So like calls, if I'm doing outbound cold call, what's the answer rate? Just hypothetically, 3%.
Right.
So you're like, you just know that there's a statistic of a 3 to 6% answer rate, let alone how many dials do you make? It's like, not enough, obviously.
But why have you looked at the numbers of
10 to
people
1.
cold calling? Oh, 10 conversations to 1 sale. What about cold calling versus door knocking? Which one's better?
Both are great. It depends. Do I want air conditioning? Do I not? You know, but
But you teach door to door.
Yeah, I
But do they
teach sales,
also
but
cold
like-
call? Oh, okay. So you just teach
I teach
sales.
sales, but my background's door to door, and
Got
the
it.
world has been door to door. So I just laugh at the call center. That's why I throw rocks, lead babies, air conditioning, like
Yeah.
Baby.
because I just
Lead babies.
because
I like that.
we come from like such a different world where all of a sudden we get in a call center and we're like, oh, you actually get leads?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
wait,
Data?
you
You
have
have to know their name and their year.
You
bill?
just sit at a computer and look at things to come through. Like
Yeah.
we're having to like get chased by dogs and cops and like, you know, the heat and like there's so many other variables. They just hung up on you. That's tough. This dude spit in my face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like there's just a different world there. So like we always kind of just have this chip on our shoulder of like thicker skin essentially. But like call centers,
Bro, can you
great.
imagine living in Utah, the amount of people that door knock you?
Yeah. it's just-
Bro, it'd be
You
nuts.
have to build a wall.
Like, I don't think, like, we don't really get door knocked that much in Vegas. Well, I guess I'm not home, so I don't,
Yeah.
you know, maybe if they're doing it during the day. But, like, I can't imagine.
yeah,
it would be
Utah
like-
gets hit all the time.
Yeah, dude.
That's weird here. If someone knocks on your door, you're like, what the hell is going on right now?
I had a guy. So I went down to Chicago 2 weeks ago to launch.
you're at, boy?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in this nice neighborhood. The guy comes out. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you
You
not
were
know
door
that
knocking?
I'm busy? I went out 2 weeks ago to help the launch of this roofing thing. Like
Oh,
I was like, I'll go fire everybody up. Like I'm getting in the trenches.
You'll just do it.
And
Damn.
so freaking dude comes out. He's like, do you not know the fuck I'm busy? I'm like, I'm busy too, bro. He's like, what do you mean you're fucking busy? I was like, I'm fucking busy. And then I just go right at him. And he's like, this is insane. I'm like, I just walk away. I walk away, and I was like, people these days. You know what I mean? Like, it's
What
just-
the hell?
I just knocked on your door. I don't know what you're effing doing. What are you doing? Jacking off? Like I just like it's like
was pissed.
obviously,
Yeah, I was like,
obviously I bugged you.
That's actually a good. That might have been what was going on.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sorry.
What's your worst door knock story?
I have so many, dude. I mean, when you say worst, are you talking funniest or like most scary?
Give me a
We're
funny
talking-
one.
Give us a funny and a scary one.
My very first year, this is the best. I'm 18 years old. I get dropped in Dallas, Texas, and I'm in like the all black hood, right?
Hold on. What do you mean they dropped you?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking, you get in somebody's car, you do car group. So like you're the car
Solar
driver.
does that too.
You're the car driver. We're going out to turf, and I'll drop you off at 1. I don't call me till 9:30 at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know that's how it goes down.
Yeah.
That's how it goes down. If
Sounds
you're doing it right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
So you can't leave.
you can't leave. I'm in
That's why They
turf,
drop you off.
and so I'm
It's
in
called the turf.
turf or hood or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
I'm in turf, and dude, we should make a reality show of this. So I'm in this dude. This dude answers the door. He's like 6'8", black dude, and of course you think he's gonna sound like Shaquille O'Neal, but he's like, hey. And I'm like, what the hell? He's like, come on in. You know, and
Come on in.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm like,
I had to sell this guy.
yeah, I'm like, flirt to convert, baby. Let's go.
Flirt to convert.
So I'm over here like, bro. And he's like, oh, this is me. I'm actually a double black belt. I train with Chuck Norris. And he's got like him and Chuck Norris. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you're this 6'8" black dude fighter. I'm like, who are you, bro? He's like, you want to see my toys? And I'm like,
Oh no.
Sure. You know, I'm like, build rapport.
Yeah.
I'm 18, you know, I'm just a little kid. I'm like, I run into this closet and so I'm in his walk-in closet and he's got a bunch of dolls still in their boxes.
Oh no.
I'm like, and then he's in between me and door and I'm in his walk-in closet and I'm looking at Barbie dolls in boxes still. I'm like, what did I just get in myself into? You know what I mean? And I'm like, there's no way out. He trains with Chuck Norris. I'm like, oh shit. This is where smooth tongue comes into play. You know what I mean? I'm like, so these are awesome, dude. Like where'd you get them? You know what I mean? I'm just like, rapport. And I'm like, I gotta get out of this closet. So I like finagle my way out. And he's like, what are you gonna, Joe's Crab Shack with me? I was like, my boss wouldn't let me. Like, I'm like, get out of house. But hold on, wait, let's see if he passes credit. So he fails credit. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, wait a minute, he's still talking to me. I got out of his closet. Like, there's been so many crazy ones. I've thrown in jail.
What'd you get thrown in jail for?
Bro, like, cities will call the cops on you all the time, or people are like, who are these random dudes riding scooter in my neighborhood selling shit?
Wait, you guys ride scooters?
I rode a scooter.
Like a Razor?
Like a Razor push scooter. I thought it was so fun. I'm like, everybody's like, what do you do? I was like, I just go to a neighborhood, ride a Razor scooter around and make a shit ton of money.
I did that in college.
It's so
I had a Razor scooter in college.
I was bored. I was like, this is slow between doors. Instead of walking, why not ride a scooter? So anyway, they find my scooter in the front yard. They knock on this lady's door and she's like, is there a sales guy in here?
Hold on. I can ask about the scooter. So do you like...
I just toss it in there.
Do you like drop it on the street? Like every
no,
door?
I just put it on either their doorsteps or I just throw it in their yard. I'm just like...
Yeah, like it's in the lawn.
Like a child.
In the lawn. And because we got a call that this creepy guy on scooter was coming around. I'm like, yeah, that's me, And anyway, they just pulled me out and they were like... do you have a permit? I was like, yeah. They're like, well, we kicked you guys out earlier today. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that? Like, I was like, and then they put
The police kicked?
Yeah, because I guess some other guy got in trouble for knocking and pissed off somebody.
Even though you had a permit, you got arrested?
Yeah, exactly. I'm
What
like,
the
this
hell?
is
Wait,
stupid.
but you have to get a permit to door knock?
Solicitor's permits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're supposed to.
You're supposed to.
How does that work?
Go to the city.
Brian's like, what's a
they're
permit?
different, bro.
Yeah.
Some you go to the
Wait.
city, you do a background check. Some of them make you do fingerprints.
Yeah.
One in New Mexico, there's a place called Hobbs. They make you do a blood test for communicable disease.
Whoa.
Bro, some of them are intense. You're like, why am I? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just trying to go knock. So anyway,
It's like
I've
Mom
had-
Donnie getting an ID to shovel snow.
I've had crazy. I mean, sprayed by a hose, dog by
Sprayed by hose, crazy.
I've had.
How did that happen? They already had the hose?
Dude, this is actually a really good story.
you let them get to the hose?
bro,
Yeah, like, turn it
bro, this is actually a really good story. I go up to this guy's house. He's watering his plants, and and as I'm pulling into his driveway, right, like he's like, "Go away!" And I just ignored it, right, and I go up to him and go away, and I was like, "Hey."
Wait, why are you going up to this guy?
Well, because he's a sales, bro. They're all going to object you. You just have to you just know that
smoke screen.
that's a smoke screen. You
like
know it's
that.
going to have to happen. So you're like, oh, hey, pretend like you don't hear it or something.
Yeah.
You walk up and he's like, did you not fucking hear me? I was like, yeah, dude, sorry to bug you. It looks like you're having a rough day. He's like, go away. And I was like, hey, anyway, he sprays me with this hose. And I was like, oh, and I just smoke screen that shit. I'm like, anyway, so what we're doing with the neighbors, he's like, did you not fucking hear me? And then he sprays me again. And I was like, hey, sir. I was like,
damn, you're built different.
I go, hey, excuse me, sir, would it be too much to ask one more time? It's hot out here. Like, just give it to me. And he just sprays me the third time. He runs inside. He's like, I'm calling the fucking cops. And he jumps inside. He picks up the phone, calls the cops. I go to the neighbor's house, soaking wet. And I,
dripping out the door.
just dripping, hey, your neighbor sprayed me with this hose. But anyway, what we're doing, I go inside, I'm closing them, and all of a sudden I get a door knock.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, that's probably the cops. They're like looking at each other like, who did we just let into our house and tell them about all of our vulnerable spots in our home and like those security, you know what I mean? Where do your kids sleep? Let's make sure we put anyway. So I go out and talk to the cop and I was like, you just effed up my deal, bro. And he's like, and I was like, this doesn't look good. Come here. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, come here. And I bring the cop to the homeowner. I was like, tell him I'm legit. Yeah, he's legit. He checks out. And I was like, tell him to get this. He's like, yeah, I mean, they're good. And I go in and sign the deal. It was like such a good, like, you just have to be built. Like, that's what I'm saying. When people are like, you can go find a dude with 3, 5, 10 years of door-to-door history and you get to recruit that guy.
Yeah.
He had to deal with that shit like over and over.
Yeah, like if you stayed in the industry for 5+ years, you've made it.
You've made it. Like, you could sell anything.
Yeah.
I've door knocked, but not like that.
No, you
That's
ain't
new level.
built
Yeah,
soft.
That's new level.
like you just had to learn a new muscle that was like almost autism, where you're like not picking up the social cues.
Doing that. People say I have that.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, did you not hear me? I said, go away. You're like, yeah, anyway. You
Yeah.
just smile and nod.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so how much do you make?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. How long you lived here? Yeah, exactly. Just kind of keep talking to them.
Damn.
That's sales. And it's funny. So everybody's like, you do the door-to-door guy. I'm like, dude, all of a sudden we go in and start training call centers, or we start training, like a direct sales or, field sales companies. And all of a sudden we just like, wait, that's your best guy? Like,
This guy sucks.
Yeah. We're like, oh. And that's what I found with roofing. We had a ton of roofers. And that's why I picked roofing. Everybody's like, why'd you pick roofing? I was like, well, Alarms has kind of had the Vivint of the world. Sunrun, 8,000. Like, they have these big national brands. Pest Control, Aptive, Dave Royce, who's coming on. These guys had 3,000 sales reps, all 1099. Ninja sold for $600 million. You look at every pest control company, though, like just a local little guy, they're just like not even close, right?
Oh, okay.
And-
that's why the name's familiar. That's so Chandler David Smith, who's coming.
Yeah, he worked.
He was
at
with
Aptive.
Aptive.
Yes.
Oh, he's coming?
He sold his whatever. part
Yeah,
of
he
it.
was part of Dave's
He
company.
did?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, roofing, there's no big national badass sales organization that does roofing.
Right.
It's not like Aptive cares about pest control. They're a sales organization that happens to do pest control. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And these roofers are all like, I'm a roofer. And I'm like, I don't even know what shingles mean. Like, I don't care what the shingle is, bro. I just sell widget, make sure they do a good job.
Yeah.
But I'm a sales organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we saw a huge gap is we looked at these industries and I was like, man, these guys could use just a simple couple tweaks to shift their mindsets to being, stop thinking you're a roofer, start thinking of a sales culture
Do you think it matters, like, for these door-to-door guys? Like, are all the opportunities pretty similar at the end of the day, or some like just way better?
it's
Commission-wise.
skill level. So
Let's say you're high-skilled guys.
skill guy, you go higher ticket. I think the problem is if you're selling
So solar's like the
solar,
highest ticket.
roofing,
Yeah.
windows. I think the problem is like people jump into door to door and try to go straight to high ticket, and they don't get enough
Selling
shots on
pest
target.
control would be like the lowest.
Do it fiber and pest control or something like that.
Fiber?
Yeah, so like fiber communication.
Internet?
Yeah, so it's like you knock somebody's door, knock a door, fiber.
Lettuce.
lettuce,
Bro, you
lots
selling
of
heads of lettuce?
lettuce. We need to get your fiber up. No, so they knock a door. You're paying $150 a month for half a gig. I'll give you
Yeah, it's not a
$50
$40,000
off.
system.
Yeah, I'll give you $50 off and give you faster internet. Do you want to do it? Like it's like yes or no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just quick. I think those are important though, because I think people want to be really good at sales, but they don't want to go through the 2, 3, 4 year sales journey to actually become a professional salesperson. So it's nice to get the dopamine hits and the wins and learning how to transact, get credit cards, like close people in a high transactional volume. But if I jump right into real estate and I do 2 deals my first year, it's like, what'd you do the rest of the year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
So I've always said this, and I've even said it to my guys. I said, until you've made $250K in a year in sales, you're not a good sales guy. What would you say?
I mean, relatively,
I'll say 100.
it's hard on an income level because I don't know the product.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of really good salespeople in the wrong product and industry.
Right.
Sure.
Does that make sense? I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you selling furniture? You're too damn good for this. Had you been in my world, you'd be making $500,000.
Well, kind of my point with it is too, it's like you didn't sell yourself into the right opportunity.
Yeah, like
you weren't resourceful enough to see like, oh
That's true.
snap, like
I'm
I
in
should
the wrong space.
probably go
Yeah.
sell something different.
And that's why I'm cautious, but I think, yeah, if you're good at sales, you should be making over 250. I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I think in today's world, so let's just use roofing. In 2018, I spoke at a roofing convention. They have a panel that says $1 million producers, meaning they're making 120 grand. I'm like, that's not that cool, guys. Like
No.
we're talking, you're in sales and you made 100 grand, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was in 2018, 2026. People are still bragging about $1 million producer. I'm like, don't you think that's not that cool?
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a good living.
It's a good
yeah, it's nothing. It's
But
like if
nothing
I
to
have a sales
brag.
guy who makes 100 grand, I'm like,
He's happy.
good
Yeah.
for you.
like he's great.
He
Like
does his
for
purpose.
him, right?
But you're
he's
not
a killer.
Not dude on stage, bro, at a convention.
yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm not putting you on stage.
We're not putting you on stage. So to your point, we did those Golden Door Awards. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
And most of those make over 250.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
every single that award, we kind of benchmarked 250 in earnings.
Yeah, that's what I think. I just think like if you're a savage, you're gonna want to make 250 or more.
Yes.
Like you're not content making 100.
Yeah, like my two good guys at my company make over 250.
What do you think is happening to the solar industry?
Great question. So
They're gonna put new roofs on them.
Yeah, no, it's going to have a comeback. It's just gone through a really shrink. It got hit with the beautiful bill.
Yeah.
It got hit with interest rates. It got hit with banks not paying.
Yeah.
So imagine you go and sell $1 million of solar, and then the bank was like, oh, we just can't pay you.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that control your money. So all of a sudden you're trying to call your reps and you're like, hey, I'm not paying you because the bank's not paying you. And the reps are like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like,
Yeah.
I sold this shit. And you're like, I have no control over this. So it like got hit with like 3 major cannonballs below the waterline.
Yeah.
And I think it's good in certain markets where California, Florida, Illinois, you know what I mean? But I think it'll start to stabilize in the next 2 to 3 years where it becomes much more like a normal home service. It was way, way overinflated
It was a
3
bubble.
years ago.
Yeah.
Because it was such massive opportunity.
Yeah, it's like
Easy
you should not
sale.
have a 22-year-old guy making $13,000 on a deal that he sold in 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like I work 3 hours a week. I make 13 grand a week because I sell one,
Dang.
and I'm 22 and never sold shit in my life. And
Yeah.
I'm a decent sales guy
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of applicants from solar companies.
because they're not making
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They're
And a
getting
lot
their
of them
face
are
kicked
going out of business.
Yeah, it was
or
just
they're
a
getting
bubble.
paid.
It was a bubble at that point.
And now the problem is like if all of a sudden you're making 40 grand a month, trying very little, but it's just not that anymore. The problem is you can't like unsee that.
Yeah.
So your self-worth and perception is
Yeah.
like, I'm a baddie. I should be making 400 grand a year. And I'm like, no, you had a weird opportunity. You have to unwind your brain. So what I think is going to happen is the culture of those people are going to die and try to figure their shit out and have identity crisis. The companies that stuck around are going to rehire new blood under new economics, and they're great. You know what I mean?
It'll go to a normal business.
It'll go to
I
a
heard the
normal
companies are
business.
struggling,
Oh,
though, especially after the new bill,
solar
like the tax credit being gone.
SolarCon is not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
I had 70 solar companies in my mastermind 3 years ago. I have 0.
Dang.
I heard
Like,
it's really bad.
I would say 70% of DDDCon was solar companies 4 years ago.
Whoa.
There were like,
They're all gone.
there were 7% this
Yeah.
year in the solar industry.
I heard last year after they passed a big, beautiful bill, it was just like getting
It got
really,
wrecked.
really, really bad.
But the problem is it's like, again, a perception. It's kind of like Warren Buffett's quote of like, hey, while everybody's running, I go that way. And when everybody's coming, I run. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think the play is for some of these guys that are sticking around, they're going to be so happy they did, but people are just like, where's the easy buck?
It's not in solar.
And it's not in solar right now for a business
Where's
owner.
the easy buck? Roofing?
Yeah.
No, yeah, Forge with us, with us. Yeah, I was like, no, I think fiber is a good industry right now. I see landscaping on a cool up tear right now, like people doing turf and hardscapes.
Man, an M19 guy who sold his landscape biz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun one because you can just go to somebody, see an obvious need.
I will say that is one thing that's opened my mind with M19 because these guys are all business owners in the most random things.
Yeah, you're around a landscaping company and you make $5
Yeah,
million.
like, dude, they'll tell me what they're making. I'm like, huh? Like, what do you do for marketing? They're like, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Flyers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just referrals,
Referrals.
whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I've been around.
I'm like, do you know how much effort it takes me to like market at a high level?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
And the
just-
risk and the, you know, what I
yeah,
mean?
like I'm dropping 6 figures plus a month on marketing and 6 multiple, and then like, you know, these guys and their sale is easy too, right? Like selling somebody a high ticket digital product is very difficult. Selling somebody landscape,
Yeah.
it's not hard.
It's like if they want it, they're going to pay.
Yeah. So it's like, it's interesting. It's given me a lot of perspective. But my, another guy we had on before, Chris Lee, he sold his solar company for like 9 figures or something. Do you know like what was going on with his?
So my CRO
Okay.
at Forge was the other company that they two bolted together.
Okay. So they rolled up.
Yeah. So a bank came in and bought SolGen and bought Pure Light, merged them together. And then Pure Light became the company. So JD, my partner, was the CEO for the last 3 years of that.
Okay.
And so know it very well.
Okay. So I'm guessing it had a hard time too then, because now he's working for you.
So in December 22nd, the bank saw the big, beautiful bill happen. They saw where things were going. They were having their best months in solar, though. They were crushing it. But because the debt, and I'm not trying to like, long story short, the debt that they had put onto the business wasn't worth it for them. And they said, we're filing Chapter 7. So he had to go in right before Christmas and fire 700 employees.
Wow.
He says,
Gosh.
we're done, guys. Pack up your stuff.
That sucks.
Imagine being a CEO where you have to just walk in and you're like, we're having our best months, we're cranking, we're tearing, and all of a sudden the bank's like, we're pulling the plug.
Yeah.
And he's like, there is no jobs tomorrow. Like, it's just kind of like, go home, figure your shit out, and
Yeah.
we're done.
I've been hearing that a lot.
Why did they put so much debt on it?
Chris?
Got it. So with that, like what becomes like, I mean, you ended up hiring this guy, and are you just going to take all the reps?
No, we were like, hey, just let them do what they're going to do. We'll hit them up when we need them. Because one of his VPs was actually my old regional. So like I knew Brandon was his name. And I call him. I was like, just when I'm ready, we'll wave the flag. I'm not ready. I would break. Like I just started
You
a
can't
week
even
ago.
handle all that.
I'd be like, this is so ugly for you today. But in 6 months, once we get dialed,
Yeah.
because the issue is like they had 600 sales guys. So it's like they had
These
700.
companies are just sales organizations.
No, these guys did roofing and solar installs. So they had 700 W-2s. They had 600 1099s.
Oh man. So they had over 1,000 people.
Yeah. So they took, so I'm like, dude, if I go get it Brandon today, or like, cause I call him, I was like, yeah, go figure out your shit for the next minute, but don't make any long-term commitments.
Yeah.
We would just look ugly. They're expecting a good sales culture. They're expecting a smooth process. They're expecting their shit to get done.
You guys don't have it yet.
And it's like, I would just implode.
Yeah. How often do these sales guys bounce around from offer to offer?
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I mean, that's like why I started DD Experts, was because I was like, let's unify, up level, bring honor, integrity to the space, because a lot of them do it the wrong way. And then there's a right way to do it. Does that make sense? It's not that like it's wrong to bounce. It's just, are you doing it ethically?
Right.
And I think there is a little bit of a loyalty problem in sales, a little bit, because of like, think shiny object syndrome, greener grass, right? And, you know, in that scenario, like, you know, Brandon took 100 guys from Ion and went to Pure Light.
Right.
And so it's like he literally, you know, imagine you're a solar company and you lose 100 dudes overnight.
That sucks.
And that's kind of my point with how I don't like that model as a business owner.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Because it's like
you have no leverage. You better go keep these guys happy.
you have
That's
to
the
make
same
them
in the
happy.
wholesale business. With like New Western. Do you know what New Western is?
Mm.
Anyways, it's very similar to where you don't get leads, but they teach you how to fish. And then what happens is
Once you learn it,
someone learns and someone's really good. And then they're like, you know what? I want to start my own company. And then they leave and they take half the sales team.
But the thing
Very
is,
common.
like, but
Continues
the
to
thing is,
happen.
like, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty common. Like that's how you ask yourself, why is
But
there
usually they have non-competes, and then usually New Western sues them.
Yeah, so Dave has sued probably hundreds of reps, like because they have non-solicits more so than a non-compete.
Exactly.
So like it's not that Brandon got sued hella a ton. Like so that's where Rocky's at. Rocky's like, I can't bring my 60 guys over because I'm gonna get sued. So there's like the strategy of like, okay, but at the end of the day, like it's business. Like that's what's hard is people don't leave companies, they leave leaders.
Yeah.
And so as long as you're providing value, you know, that's how you win. But Dave, I interviewed his CEO, Vess Pearson's his name, on my podcast probably 5 months ago. And I said, how did you guys win? Like what made you different? And he's like, for the first 5 years of our business, we never lost anybody good. Because I recruited against Dave and Aptiv a lot when I was in the game. And their office was literally across the parking lot from
You
Vivint.
were in Aptiv too?
I was at Vivint, right across the
you guys
parking
were
lot.
rivals.
Biggest rivals, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't lose people. They just said, I will retain. And they used bonuses. They used scare tactics. They used legal lawsuits. They just said, we will not lose people.
Oh yeah.
Because they knew if they kept their leadership sound, and they've kept guys for over 15 years that have been there. You know what I mean?
Which is unheard of. They just kept strong loyalty to the key players. And that's what made them what they are. And Vess broke that whole thing down. He's like, we just knew if we don't lose anybody good, we grow this thing. And I think that's the biggest problem in companies is like you build, lose your guys. Build, lose your guys.
Yeah.
It's like,
you know who was telling me about
sucks.
that? Was Ryan Blair.
Oh really?
Golfer?
No, he built
Zach Blair.
they were doing, dude, I can't even remember the number, but the business sold for like 700 million.
I'll look him up real quick.
He was on the pod. He spoke at Kingdom Summit too.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a network marketing company and they were selling, you know, whatever. It wasn't
Same
door to
thing in
door.
network marketing.
But it's the same idea.
Orgs will just say, cool, we're taking our 30,000 agents to this one.
And that's what I was telling him about. I'm like, so what is it like? Because in network marketing, it's the same problem.
Same thing.
It's 272. I'm sorry, 792.
Yeah, that's what they sold for.
792 million.
What company was it?
I forgot what the company was called. But they went public.
Yitzhak?
They went public and yeah, it was a wild journey. But like, that's what I see with a lot of these companies. So like it went public, then they lost reps and it tanked and, you know, all these different things. I don't know the full story, but then he got the chance to buy it back.
Yeah.
And like all these things. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm like a private equity company.
It's scary buying.
Yeah. I'm like,
channel.
there is nothing. Like you have these sales reps.
So this is what happened with like, you take Vess there. So Dave Royce, let's just use this pest control company, because I'm very in the know with this one. So they were supposed to sell in a 5-year timeline. They got sold. They were Altera. They sold off the Terminex. Then they started Aptiv. They sold everybody on a 5-year timeline. People got equity, you know what I mean? All the play. And what happened was they couldn't sell off. They're selling off their book of accounts, not the sales org. What happened was the market shifted to where they're like, we just need EBITDA and we need your salespeople to stick. So that it took them 10 years to sell because the shifted and private equity was like, we don't touch door-to-door companies. We don't like it. And the William Blair report, there's this Wall Street report that put a whole thing out on home services, and it was called Pest Control 2.0, meaning what we're seeing in the market is the banks in the private equity sectors are starting to accept door-to-door a little bit more than they've ever have, because they were anti-door-to-door because they're like, dude, they're so all over the place. They jump. There's no predictability. They take each other's accounts. The churn, right? The bad accounts, they're not as clean of accounts because it's like, if you're willing to buy from a door-to-door guy here, the next year you're going to switch companies again. And long story short. So, but we're seeing a shift where, you know, it's not saying that there isn't any risk there. It's just, how are the door-to-door people able to, you know, be a channel and then maximize the data, and all these companies adding a call center behind the doors, adding rehash, adding, it's not that I even have to spend money on marketing. You know, one of my roofing clients, they have 13,000 people in their database. And last year, 70% of their revenue actually was from rehashing that data. And I was like, oh, that was a cool statistic I found out yesterday.
When you say rehash, just follow up.
They're just like, how do we go back to all the data and re-roof or rehash or get a referral? And so what's interesting, when you do such a guerrilla door-to-door, you're getting all this data, whether they fail credit, pass credit, whether they, you know, say no, don't close, cancel, whatever, right?
Right.
They don't renew. And what's happening is these door-to-door companies are starting to get a little bit more sophisticated, adding a second or third channel. which is now creating a big strength in that, because what they do like is the amount of accounts you can go put on as fast as we can. So it's like, how do I go build a $10 million roofing company? I'm like, I don't know, go get 15 guys doing an average of 750. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
you
like
just reverse engineer
it. And I'm like, how fast does it take me to get 15 guys? I don't know, a month. Like, it's not crazy. So like, but most people are like, I could get to 10 million over 10 years. That's like where their path is. So it's just a fast way to grow, but it's now, can you back it up with a brand,
it will
marketing,
keep growing.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
That's like what Tommy Mello did so well.
Yes. He did a great job of that.
Yeah. Versus like, he had so many approaches to getting customers and reselling customers and, all that different stuff. But dude, no, that's great. We will definitely link to down below, everything you got going on for any potential roofing people and everything else. Where else can people hit you up?
TheDDDexperts.com or Sam Taggart, anywhere on social. But yeah, happy to connect if anybody needs help with any of this.
Yeah. Maybe you'll join Brian and his training program to start his roofing company.
Jump in, bro.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in.
Yep. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching the last episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure you catch the next episode that's playing right now.